Today's Tuesday. Feels like it's been a long week.
Yeah, it really does.
That's straightforward. So there's the math, but there's a little extra step at the end of this. This is on the take-home quiz too, and most of you caught it, but not everybody. But before I do that extra step, are there questions on the math here? So I got my P1 and my P2. Remember, this and this will always match, and then this and this will always match, and then this is inverse norm 1.98 divided by 2. Then I'm just doing the math and adding and subtracting 2. Remember, this is my point estimate, this is my margin of error, so I end up here. How many got to here? Questions on getting to there? So the extra little twist is usually we're trying to find the true population proportion. The proportion's like a decimal, you know? But here they say we want the difference in the numbers. So you got to take it, it's annoying because you do the math right. It's super tempting to circle B, but B is actually not the right answer. They want the difference in the numbers. And you know there's 1,000 apples. So you got to multiply both of these by 1,000. And then it comes out to E. Which is just like a little extra twist that they like. I mean, that's what they do, right? Like, here's the regular problem. Now screw you and do it this way. How many got E? How many put B? I mean, that's a super easy mistake to make. Do you see why it's E instead of B, though? Now that okay. Try 2. couple things going on here. One is just interpreting the confidence interval, but one is like you can't generalize beyond the group that you sampled. So if we only sampled 2 voting districts, C and M, 3 of these answers talk about we're confident about voters in the state. And it's not necessarily true that those 2 districts represent like the entire state. So if you only sample districts C and M, you can only generalize the districts C and M. So as soon as it says in the state, those are out. So now we're down to C or D. And then remember the goal, like the thesis statement that you read every time is we want to estimate the true population proportion. So we're not trying to estimate the sample proportion. I know that. I know the sample proportions, like I have that data. The point is, can I estimate the population proportion, or the proportion of all voters? So that's the same thing as saying population proportion, right? All voters. So the answer is C. How many had C? Okay. Questions on it? Let's jump to number 5. So this is jumping ahead a little bit, because we're going to eventually have 8 of these processes you're trying to decide between. We only got 2, but this is what we can start thinking about, and this is kind of what you ask yourself on all of these. And if you just fill in those 3 blanks, you should get to the answer. So do we have 1 sample or 2 in this problem? We got 2. We deal with means or proportions? Proportions, and then we haven't done a test yet, but a test will ask you, like, is this statistically significant, yes or no? And a confidence interval will say estimate. So this is saying estimate, right? So we've got the 2 sample proportion interval. So that gets us to kind of A or B. And then the same idea. Are we trying to estimate the population information, or are we trying to estimate the sample of population? Or sample information? Population. So we're always like, we take a small piece of the pie and try to generalize to the population. So that's it. How many had A? Go to number 7. After this, I'm going to let you go. I want to go through this one. The key here is G minus H. That matters a lot. So if you do G minus H, what's true about all of the numbers in that interval? they're all positive, right? They're all above 0. So if I do G minus H and get a positive number, which one was bigger, G or H? G had to be bigger. So if you look at option C, it's likely that more voters in District G favor the proposal than in District H because all the intervals are positive. That's exactly what that one's saying. So that's your answer. How many had C? Are there any other ones that you're like, wait, I thought it was this? Tell me why it's not A, tell me why it's not E. We all right? So I'm going to give you time to work on the rest of it. The answers are on Schoology. Tomorrow I'll answer any questions on it, and then we're going to do a little bit more stuff with this, with the 2 samples Z, and then we'll move on to means on Thursday. Yeah.
Forgot that.
So I don't know about Schoology. Check your answers as you're going. The sooner you get feedback, the better it is for learning.